So we've got Dan from MD's Fantasy Football Show joining us tonight. Dan, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you for making the time. Why don't we go ahead and start with, how did you get your start in fantasy football? You've got the podcast going. It's a great listen for anybody that hasn't gotten a chance to check it out. It's MD's Fantasy Football Show.
Well, this show actually started about a couple of years ago, but probably my real start had to be about 10 years ago. I was working at a college radio station, had a sports show on there, and kind of got back to doing the podcasting. 2015, I started up a podcast. That was actually a political podcast that I did for a couple of years. Kind of got sick and tired of that, so I figured I'd come back to sports, come back to fantasy football, and it's been a good strong 2 years here now with the MD's Fantasy Football Show.
Right on. Well, that's cool. I think you're the first person that we've talked to that actually has kind of that natural upbringing of doing radio through college and having some sort of background. You're not quite the green rookie that some of the rest of us are here trying to make it go with this.
It definitely helped having some background, how knowing how everything works and what kind of equipment I can look at to kind of amplify everything. It definitely helps when you're trying to do a podcast, starting from scratch, figuring it all out as you go, for sure.
Right on. So I guess diving into the fantasy side of things, I guess first of all, how many leagues are you in right now?
Oh gosh, let's see. I'm in 3 different dynasty leagues, and then last year I was in 12 redraft leagues. I'm going to try to cut back on that a little bit because it just kind of got a little too hectic. So we'll see what winds up happening. But these podcast groups, everybody wants to join in and then want to network and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens.
No, fair enough. Do you have a preference on dynasty or redraft then?
I prefer redraft. I try to gear the show towards redraft for the most part, although this time of year, especially with the draft and everything like that, it's been a little bit more focused on dynasty, a little more focused on rookie aspects, but I kind of go back and forth.
So kind of getting into the redraft things as you're kind of going through the process, and early process, I understand. But, what are some guys that you kind of have some sleeper or bust potential as you're looking at these players heading into the 2020 season?
Well, going into this show for a sleeper, I wanted to pick out a good one that I felt pretty good about, and I want to go with a guy that I think you can probably get him somewhere between the 11th, maybe even all the way through the 16th round, because I don't think this is somebody that people are really talking about or remembering at the moment, and that for me would be Preston Williams there on the Dolphins. This is a guy that should have been a first-round draft pick because of the off-field issues that he had a season ago. He went late. But he's a lot like Devontae Parker. He's a superstar perimeter wide receiver in the making. And this is a guy that he finished consistently as a wide receiver 3 with Devontae Parker. And that was in the beginning of the season when he first played his 8 games and missed the second half of the season. So that was when they were going back and forth between, Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen. And if you do like a 16-game pace on him, he would have wound up with over 800 yards and 6 touchdowns. He would have wound up with about 64 receptions. So if that would have been the case, he would have been about 185 points in PPR leagues, which would put him wide receiver 31, just one spot ahead of Deebo Samuel. So this is a guy that I really think you can probably get in the teen rounds and could very easily be a higher end wide receiver 3. I like Chan Gailey. I like what he does offensively. He's going to open it up. He's going to spread the ball around. And he's there for one reason and one reason only, and that's his ties to Ryan Fitzpatrick in the past. And clearly, no matter what they wind up doing as far as a quarterback in this draft goes, they plan on Ryan Fitzpatrick being that starter week 1. We'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, Preston Williams is the guy that I think you can get really late and you can get really good value out of him as far as sleeper goes.
No, absolutely.
I love that pick.
Yep. That's one that we were hitting up hard a few weeks ago when we covered the Dolphins.
Yeah, I just think he has all the skills of a superstar in the making there.
Love that pick. Absolutely love that pick. Where can the listeners connect with you, and where can they learn more about you online?
We're on pretty much everyone on social media. Twitter, it's at MDSFF Show. On Facebook, it's at MDFF Show. You can pretty much hit me up on there at any and all times. And as far as the show goes, it's on pretty much every podcast app. We just got added on the iHeartRadio, which is very exciting. And then also with the videos, every episode that I do is live video stream. So it's all usually through YouTube, sportscaster.com, and also on Facebook Live as well.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic show. And if you guys have not had a chance and haven't come across them before, make sure that you tune in because they go deep and every bit of information is relevant and it's something that can help you win your championship in your league every year going forward. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up another episode of the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, make sure as soon as you're done listening to this, you hop onto wherever you're listening to this podcast and you make sure that you follow MD's Fantasy Football Show. Thank you very much to Dan for coming on and spending some time with us. It was very, very insightful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I hope to be on again soon.
Absolutely. We'd love to have
Thanks,
you
bud.
back anytime. But guys, you can make sure that you follow us at Twitter at Good Old Boys FF, Instagram Good Old Boys FF, Facebook Good Old Boys FF. Make sure that you click subscribe and rate this show wherever you're listening to it.